Chief Economics Correspondent John Hildenrath, along with Trump economic advisor Steve Moore. I know you're going to tell me Trump's going to win, so I'm going to start here with John and get your overall sense of is this nervousness, this down 160 points right now in the market, related to concerns about Donald Trump winning?
Yeah, I think the market doesn't like uncertainty. The polls are starting to narrow, and so investors are starting to price in the possibility that Trump is going to win. Now, you know, the expectation for the last few months has been that Hillary would win. You know, you mentioned the track record is that the market tends to be down in the months before an election when the incumbent party loses. I don't think you can go by any historical track records in this election because, I mean, so much has happened that's just so hard to follow or to base on anything that has to do with history. I think all we can say right now is that the market is pricing in the uncertainty that Trump, possibility that Trump
uncertainty, that's the name of the game, right? I mean, investors hate the idea of change. And let's face it, Donald Trump represents a lot of change, Steve. And, you know, he's not exactly a fan of Wall Street. You know, despite her talking against Wall Street, as she does over and over again, Wall Street has been a big bankroller of hers, has paid for many, you know, speeches, et cetera. She is, to a certain extent, in that Wall Street camp. So it's understandable that corporations would be getting a little nervous here. Investors would be getting a little bit nervous about a change.
Yep. Well, look, I mean, first of all, the reason the stock market has been so flat now for the last, year and a half has been corporate profits are terrible. Let's not forget, it all really comes down to the profitability of the companies in terms of the stock market. And that's a reflection of a poor economy. For those people who are worried about a Trump presidency,
corporate profits are weakening, but, you know, I would still say, you know, earnings have been relatively strong. There's been a ton of cost cutting. There's been a lot of mergers.
Yeah,
and so we're sort of in this no man's land that hasn't resulted in much prosperity for the middle class.
We've had several quarters of weak earnings, but this quarter's earnings numbers, they've been rolling in for a few weeks now. They're rolling in all right. They haven't.
But that's a lot. I mean, like, you can have all the earnings in the world. My point is, if people aren't, you know, working and getting paid and contributing to the economy, you get trouble. But anyway, go forward with your point.
Okay. So let me make my point about why investors should not be so nervous about a Trump presidency, and why I think actually a Trump presidency just for investors in the stock market is better than Hillary. And it comes down to taxes. I mean, we're going to cut the business tax by over half. So that means that after-tax earnings, right, John, of companies are going to rise under a Trump presidency. They're going to fall under a Hillary presidency. She wants to raise the capital gains tax and the income tax rate.
It's changed. They're used to gridlock in Washington, absolutely nothing ever getting done, John. And investors are seemingly okay with that because they've got Janet Yellen and company helping things along, the Fed aggressively acting to try and help. By the way, really quick, because I'm short on time, I want to talk to you about Sheldon Adelson. He's going all in on Trump. He's pouring $25 million into an anti-Hillary super PAC. That's a lot of money to be spending here in the final week before the election. Steve, why now? Why didn't he do it earlier?
Oh, I think a lot of Republican big donors have been on the sidelines for the last 6 months because, A, they don't agree with Trump on a lot of issues, and B, they didn't think he was going to win. I think that you're seeing some late money surge into the Trump campaign is an indication that this is now a toss-up race, essentially. And people now who thought it was hopeless are saying, look, with a little bit more money, Trump can actually win this thing.
I don't know if I would call it a toss-up race, but I say it isn't over. A couple weeks ago, it looked like it was over, and it's looking more and more like a close call.
We told you it wasn't. Right here on the intelligence report, we said, you know what? Don't.
We did.
I
said that 2 weeks ago, Trish.
I know you can't have the victory laps until it's actually all done and over. And frankly, it's not right. It's not right to the American people to let them, you know, basically be thinking it's over before it's actually over. Anyway, John, Steve, thank you so much. Good to have you guys here.